This is Corey.
And I'm Sharonda.
And this is Until Forever. This is a relationship podcast where we do not claim to be experts or gurus or anything like that. We're just sharing our journey. We want you to be encouraged. We want you to encourage us. So as always, we ask that you like, you share, you follow. We're on all the platforms. We got podcasts and things. Like, we're really trying to help somebody. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
We're not in church.
I'm very churched. I think you guys know that by now. But we're here. And today, we really want to talk about reasons relationships fail. But we're not going to, I found a list online, and some of the things really stuck out. And I sent Sharonda a text, said, man, we should talk about this. So we're going to dive in here. What'd you call me?
I said I don't remember.
Oh, she didn't remember. I had receipts.
Okay.
Fellas, always have receipts. These lady folk will trip you up. I'm telling you. Always have. Is she looking at me?
Yes.
Don't tell me. Is she looking
You didn't even talk about the fact that we're like sitting somewhere new today.
Oh, we are actually sitting somewhere new. We're in our dining room because our dining room is on the first floor of our home. And I can't go up to the second floor of our home. Or I shouldn't go up to the second floor of our home because I had ankle surgery. So I'm on crutches, and it just made a lot more sense to do everything down here. And my gracious, wonderful, amazing wife brought everything down here that we needed to get stuff set up. I'm enjoying this. Listen, I'll never have this chance again. To be, they what do they call us when I pull up to the door?
Chivalry?
They say that my wife is chivalrous. I can never say that word.
Chivalrous.
Chivalrously. And they tell her that that I'm getting that curbside service.
He really is though, because he can't. Like, I feel bad for him. I don't want him hopping all the way through the parking lot. Mm-hmm. So anyway, yes, for the next few episodes, you'll notice a new background in our dining room.
It won't be long. I'll be back running around here, and I'm back on my weight loss journey. But for now, I'm hopping. So anyway, number one on this list, I just want to dive into it.
Okay.
It's really, because some of it is dope. Some of it we've talked about before. We're not going to bore you with that stuff. I want to jump into some of this newer stuff that we never touched on. I think we've talked about trust issues. The lack or loss of trust is one of the most couples long-term. Okay, anyway, the number one reason relationships fail is trust issues. Would you agree with that?
I would agree, because it just depends on what the trust issue is about. Like, it could be about finances, or it could be about cheating, or it could be about lying, or, whatever. But the bottom line is, when you get to the root of it, like, you don't trust the other person.
That's huge. It's huge. We've dealt with that. We've dealt with trust issues on many different levels. And that's exactly my thought process on it, is people be like, do a trust fall, you'll be cool. No, it's deeper than that. It's not just, trusting that the other person will catch you and, building relationship that way. But, I think we had a lot of, early on, there were trust issues with me being able to be faithful because I was a hoe. Oh, am I supposed to say that? I wasn't no good, bro, in the beginning, bro. I wasn't no good. But when we got married, I was totally committed to my wife. I've always been.
But the trust issues were there because of what happened before we got married.
Exactly. And, it was clear that our first 2 years in marriage, probably our first 5 years, was the rockiest, just like, man, there were times when we really, I'll speak for myself. There were times when I was saying to myself, we're probably not going to make it.
Really? Because when I would tell Corey, like, this isn't working. And he was like, we took vows and I'm going to be in this. Are you in this? And I'd be like, oh, this man is crazy, because, like, we should just call it quits. So I didn't think you were actually thinking like that.
Well, I was scared of that. I wasn't walking around thinking it ain't gonna last much longer. No, I wasn't doing that. But I was scared that it was going in that direction because I knew how big trust was. So this being number one on the list, not a surprise to me at all. If you can't trust the person that you're in a relationship with, bro, it's not gonna work. And again, so many different levels. Not just trusting that I ain't gonna go out and try to be with somebody else, but trusting that I'm gonna be a man when I leave this house and take care of my responsibilities. Trusting that I'm gonna bring the check home and not be out doing what I want with it. Trusting that if something happened to you, I'm gonna have your back. Trusting that I'm going to be the best father that I could be for my children. Trusting, that I'm always going to put my family and you first. Like there are a lot of people who know their woman ain't gonna cheat, they know their man ain't gonna cheat, but they don't trust them to help build the home.
Oh, definitely. So we have this like running joke because during our first or second year of marriage, like the car I had when we got married, I was like, there's this noise I keep hearing when I'm driving. And Corey's like, oh, it's nothing. And then we went to visit one set of Corey's grandparents.
Decatur.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like, now it's like the timing belt. So it's like a timing belt on the car. It snapped. We needed a new timing belt. But like that was like the running joke for me. It was like, no, because when I told you I heard the noise, you said it was nothing, and it ended up being the timing belt, and the timing belt popped, and then we ordered out a card, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, that was like the running thing for me. It was like, he didn't believe me when I told him I heard a noise, and he was like, oh, it's nothing. And then it was the timing belt, and we ended up coming out of more money. So then for me, it was like, anytime anything else came up, it was just like, no, I'm not going to let Corey handle this because of the timing belt. So that was just like an example for me of how like mistrust from one thing ends up like overflowing to another area of the relationship.
So I'm not going to sit up here in front. I knew something was wrong, but I also knew that Sharonda is a chronic like overthinker, stressed. Like if
I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to see anything.
So my thing was, it's cool. Don't worry about it. It's cool. But I thought we had a little more time. I didn't think it was going to be while we was out. Like we were driving to Springfield from Decatur.
Yeah.
When it happened.
Just to do something for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in Illinois, guys, because there's Decatur, Georgia. But yeah. So we were going like from Decatur, Illinois to Springfield, Illinois, just to get out and do something for the day because there's really nothing to do in Decatur. And then we were stuck. And your dad's cousin had to come get you, like your dad and uncle and them. Their first cousin had to come pick us up. And then we had to take the train back to Carbondale. Mm-hmm. And then they got the car fixed and brought it to us, basically. So thankfully we had two cars. Corey's car was here that he had before we got married. And my car was the one that the timing belt messed up. But I brought that up just to point out, like, that was like the thing for me. It was just like, no, I can't trust him with this responsibility because he proved that I couldn't trust him here. And sometimes people do that. Like, they will hold something against you in other areas where you never even did anything to lose trust in that area, but because you've proven untrustworthy somewhere else, like, they just apply it to everything across the board.
Yeah, that's very true. And that was you.
That was me, because that's how I think. I'm an overanalyzer. I'm brushing my teeth and I'm thinking about my day. And it's like, oh, because they said that, and I should have said this, but I said this. Next time this happens, I'm going to do this. Like, that's how my mind works.
And that is very exhausting. I'm sure that's very selfish of me to say that. I'm sure it's exhausting for her as well. But when I tell you I have to navigate through all of that on a daily basis, bruh, and I just have to trust that she's going to trust God, and we're going to get through it, together. And there's some things that she's just got to trust me about that as the husband, as your man, and I can't just keep saying provider because it's 2022, and in order to survive, everybody got to work.
Oh Lord.
Like the child labor laws, like Caleb is going to be 9. I think that's working age.
Oh my
He need
gosh.
to go out. And
He needs a paper route.
My Lord, today. but yeah, it's just that's just where we're at. I think so. Again, trust issues. That's a given. I knew that was number one. These next two, they're going to probably take us through the rest of the episode today, and they're the two that really like slapped me in the face. Different expectations. Different expectations. What do you think when you hear different expectations?
In the relationship?
Just period. Different
for
expectations.
the relationship. It matters, and so I think that comes up with like the type of discussions you've had as the relationship is growing, how long you've been in a relationship. Some people date for a very long time before they move on to something serious. Some people casually date. Some people like date for like a few months and then hurry up and get married. It just depends on the couple. But expectations are like a huge thing you should notate, because each person is coming into the relationship with different backgrounds, different experiences, different observations. Like the relationships Corey observed when he was growing up versus the relationships I observed when I was growing up, they're totally different ways of seeing how relationships work, and then acquiring your own way of what you think you would want and wouldn't want. So like when we first got married, and we've talked about this I think before in season 1, where like Corey would always tell me like, life is not a romantic movie, this is not a fairy tale. And I was like, because I didn't have a lot of experience in relationships other than like, you'd be like, oh, we go together, like in junior high, high school type thing, like that was pretty much it. And so being in a relationship with Corey and then getting married, it was just like I felt like it's either this way or like it's not working at all. And for Corey, it was just like, no, we're going to work through our problems. We're going to work through our situations. And I was just like, no, you don't understand. Like if it's not perfect, then we're doomed. Like this isn't working. And then expectations as far as like what each other should do in the relationship, what type of roles the other person carries out. Like, I'm sure relationships Corey observed, like the woman probably didn't take out the trash, and I don't know. But those are things I don't care about. Like if the trash needs to go out and Corey's not in the room, I'm going to take the trash out. Like I don't care. So, and I may want Corey to take the car to get gas, but there are some women where they're just like, I don't do that. The guy's going to do that. And that's just simple things, but it could be even larger things like initiating romantic moments and bedroom moments. And I don't know, the list goes on. Doing things with the kids. I mean, it could be a big issue. I can see where that can be a big issue. And if you don't communicate about your expectations and the reality, like how can this be realistic? Like can this expectation actually happen for you and still be something that I enjoy doing? Or is this expectation unreal because I would never do that? You know what I'm saying? Like common interests and things like that.
Yeah, and then with even in communicating your expectations to each other, it's extremely important to be open about those expectations. It's one thing to say, hey, this is what I'm expecting. It's something totally different to say, hey, I know this is different than what you expect, but let's meet somewhere in the middle here and figure out how to navigate through this expectation I have. Like, I know when we got, and again, this is something that we've mentioned already back in season 1, but like when we got married, I had like this idea of fix all the food all the time, iron all the clothes, wash all the clothes, like you do all of that stuff. And I'm just supposed to be me. Like that was, and even me saying it now, it feels like, why in the world was I feeling like that? But it's all I knew. I grew up in a very traditional home with a very traditional family, and we really, we really thrived around each other. We loved each other and we loved hard, and not just us and not just blood. Anybody that came around, we took people in and we loved them like they were family, and that's just what I was used to. And my expectation is that she now is one of us. Not I knew the two become one flesh. Leave, cleave, all that. But it was, to me, it was like she's now a part of this gigantic unit that I call family, and she's just gonna slide in there and be one of the women that I'm used to seeing. So like my Aunt Carla, she cooked food all the time every Sunday. Everybody would cook a dish and bring it together. Sundays was just our day. That was our expectation. That after church, we all gonna sit together as a family. We're gonna eat. We're gonna enjoy each other, have a great time, and we'll see each other next Sunday and some throughout the week. That was us. That was always my expectation because that's all I knew. The shock came when we moved. I had lost my job and we moved to Chicago. Sharonda was pregnant with Caleb, and we had to make moves. Wasn't nothing opening in Carbondale. I needed the job. I had my CDL. It was a ton of great paying CDL jobs in Chicago. I said, listen, your mom's happy to take us in. Let's go. Let's try to make a life up north. So we moved there, and I'll never forget this first Sunday. We had church. We got out of church, and they in Kojic, so we got out at a decent time. I'm like, oh, yes, it's about to go down. And I'm looking around. I'm looking for family, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, we either going out to eat or everybody bringing food over to the house. We can play some games, maybe watch a movie. Is it a football Sunday? Like, I'm just in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the expectation. This is what I'm used to. When I tell you, we went to the house and everybody was looking at each other, bro. So wait, where's uncle? Where's cousins? Where's your family? Like, why ain't nobody showing up? Y'all don't want to go to Red Lobster? Like, we ain't going nowhere. And like they was, when one time I brought it up and everybody was like, why do you think we supposed to? And it was just, that was my expectation. So when I realized that we had totally different expectations of doing life, I had to really quick, that was a tough transition for me, man, because I really was uprooted from everything. And I was even in Indianapolis because the family isn't as big, but every Sunday, family gathers at grandma's.
And I don't know why. Maybe it's because we were all grown. Mm-hmm. Because growing up, I mean, my grandfather was not saved. And so on Sundays, we would have this thing where my cousin that's older than me on my mom's side, he lived with my grandparents. And so what would happen was we would get home from church and my mom would send him in and she would say, wave back out the door if granddaddy cooked. And like, we just never knew, like, either granddaddy was going to cook like this huge Sunday dinner or he wasn't going to cook and we was going to have to go home and cook ourselves.
No, that's terrible.
But it was never, everybody got to eat, like on Sunday. Like, that's money. Like, man, can you imagine taking a family of 6 out to dinner every Sunday?
We could buy a mansion if we took all the money that my family has spent eating out throughout the years. We could probably buy a city.
So it was just
crazy.
I think maybe just because everyone was older and you just kind of get out of the habit of it. So to us, we get out of church at 11:30, 12 o'clock. Like, it's lunchtime. So we may grab something for lunch or you come home and fix a sandwich, but like, it's not dinner time. So dinner is ready at dinner time.
She said, come home, fix a sandwich.
Corey is like used to like, okay, church is out, 1 o'clock. We eat on like a heavy dinner and then we'll still eat that again at dinner time.
It's two dinners. You eat dinner twice. That's what you eat, you sit down, you enjoy each other's company. When you hungry, you fix another plate. Put that mug in the microwave. It's just as good as it was, bro. I'm telling you. Sundays.
Oh my gosh.
And we going back. I'm telling you, we going back. So I hope you ready. She mouthing something. Our monitor's over here, so I'll be trying to see what she's mouthing.
Oh my gosh. If you can read lips, you know what I said.
Bro, we going back.
Anywho, expectations, yeah. I would say that was probably, but that wasn't the worst one.
Mm-mm. No, and that's not even a bad
And even
one.
now, we still have some, like,
Yeah.
you know, like we're both working full-time jobs, both in school. The kids have their activities. Kids have homework that we need to make sure it gets done.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally clean laundry sitting on the couch. It's been there for like 3 days because I'm just like going through it. Like, yeah, here's a shirt, here's underwear. Take what you need.
My ankle. I'd help. I'd be helping with clothes.
But it's just, you know.
But I think it's safe. I think it's safe if we're going to move to like an advice portion.
Okay.
I think it's safe if your expectation of each other is like an overarching theme. Like if you're saying, my expectation of you is whatever comes, we're going to figure it out together.
That's a reasonable expectation.
We're going to figure it out together. Whatever, because, I mean, when you grow up in your own personal environments, you're going to have two totally different sets of expectations. And you're either going to fight each other on whose expectation is going to take the lead, or you're going to say, you know what? Our two lives have now become one life, and we have to figure out, we have to set new expectations within each other and figure out how we're going to, you know, make that happen, make that work.
Definitely.
But that really takes us to the next one, and that is moving through life at different speeds. Now, you know, I understand why that, and that's number 3. I almost said number 3rd. That's number 3rd on the list.
And this is why I don't like to record late at night.
They don't know what time it is. It's early out. No, it's not. I don't want to go here. I'm sorry, Lord. It's late. I'm sleepy.
Oh my God.
Anyway, and number 3rd on the list is moving through life at different speeds. Now, what does this look like? Just to lay the foundation. So, you've seen it, and I don't watch this show. Sharonda watches it. It's weird. It's called something about us.
This is us. How are you going to bring up a show that you don't watch?
That is them. Because that last night's episode was very interesting. And the concept of what's happening is the big girl, I don't know her name. Katie. Who?
Kate.
Her name's Kate. Her and her husband, you can tell that he's done some things in his life, and now he is moving through life at a different speed than she is. And because she hasn't caught the wave, he done left her behind, and now decisions are being made she don't agree with, but he's like full steam ahead. There is nothing that can save that.
Yeesh.
Until he says, you know what? I'm at a different speed. We need to figure this out. Here's the kicker though. Here's the thing. Because if I bring that home to us and make it personal for us, I think our different speeds have to do with faith.
Oh, definitely.
Have to do with faith. Because my faith is like, bro, God could give us 20 acres of land tomorrow. Sharonda will be like, where is it coming from though? Like, how is that gonna happen? Like, I need to see receipts. I need to figure that out. That's not, she need the steps along the way, which is why I be telling her God is going to deal with you in major ways because your faith has to be stretched. But like, my faith speed is like 30 times faster than hers. I realize that. So I'm not finna go out here and make big faith moves and have her in the house stressed out. What I'm going to do...
Because I will be stressed out.
What I'm going to do is pray about it. I'm going to talk to her about it. I'm going to grab her and I'm going to bring her along with me, hopefully elevating her to the level of faith that I have. But I can't increase her faith. She has to believe God for that for herself. And she is getting way better and amazing at it because everything that God is doing for her. If we could segue real quick into these amazing sweatshirts that we're wearing, and the Waymaker sweatshirts that she had. Oh, hoodies, sorry. Hoodies. Hey, tell them where they can get one if they want to get one.
NouveauExposure.org.
And I knew that. I just like to hear her talk.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be quiet because I know she wants to weigh in on this, going through life at different speeds. What do you think?
I do.
Oh, never mind. Thought she had something to say.
I really don't. It could be anything. It could be, and that would be an excuse of what a lot of people will use about, like, I need to be with someone on my level. I need to be with someone that makes the same amount as me, or if not more. Or I need to, as far as females, and I need to be with somebody who is saved. I need to be with somebody who lives here. I need to be with somebody who loves the same things I love. And differences can have their benefits to a relationship to a certain extent, but when you come to moving through life at a different speed, I would say you gave a perfect example for a show he doesn't watch, you guys, of This Is Us, the most recent episode, because that's pretty much it. It was like they felt when they met each other, they were on the same wavelength, and then Toby just started to like progress in certain areas like weight loss and career, and then here's Kate, and she's not progressing as quickly and as rapid as Toby is, and she started to hold on to certain values that were no longer apparent values for Toby. And so that is what can happen in a real life relationship. Like if you're moving at different speeds, then, somebody else, one person may be willing to make certain sacrifices that the other person is not. And that goes back to communication and trust. So it can make or break a relationship. I definitely agree with that being on the list.
Now the key word in that, moving through life at different speeds, the key word in that is different. We're going to move through life, and there's going to be a speed. That's just the way it is. And speed translates to a lot of different things. Speed could be, community, or Lord, I done lost the thought. It went away. What's that? Career. I knew it started with a C.
Oh my god.
It could be your career oriented, your career path. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are focused on their jobs when the other person is ready to start a family, but the other one doesn't feel secure yet. They want some more things done first. Like it's those are different speeds.
Some people are ready to make big moves. Move from a small town to a larger city, or move from a larger city, move from state to state, or to pursue a degree, and the other person's not ready for them to pursue the degree because they have another plan, or leaving family behind. It could be anything really. So yeah.
And that's
launching a business. It could be anything.
You got to, like I said, the key word is different. So the way that you fix that is you look at the differences. Okay, so where are we misaligned here? What differs? Like, this is my view, this is my perspective of life and where I think we're going. What is yours? And how do we make those align? Because if you don't have those like base conversations, you're going to look up and think that this person ain't supporting you, this person ain't with you. But that person that feels like that, you feel like that person ain't with you and they're not supporting you, but that person feels left.
Honestly, I don't mean to sound like super deep or anything like that, but like, you guys know, like, we're Christians, we believe in God, we seek God, we pray, we fast. And so that if you're a believer, like, that's going to be a very important aspect of your relationship. And just like you would plan, just like you planned for yourself, like when you were like young 20s, maybe a teenager, like, oh, in the next 5 years, I want to be here. In the next 10 years, I want to be doing this. Like, you should be doing the same thing as a couple. Like, where do we see ourselves in a year? How can we get there? Where do we see ourselves in 5 years? How will we get there? Where do we see ourselves in 10 years? How will we get there? And it's okay if all of those things don't happen exactly the way you planned, but if you're both moving towards the same goals, then nothing is coming as a surprise to you, really.
Simple fix. Vision board.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go deeper? Do a 5-year plan. Do a 1 year, 5 year, 10 year.
You should have a family vision.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm saying that I think that's something we need to, because we have a pretty clear
We've actually accomplished a lot of the things that we were working towards.
God has been good.
I mean, it took us 10 years to get here, but we've accomplished them because of God. Mm-hmm. And so now it is time for us to sit down and kind of just like reassess our individual dreams and then our prayers and dreams for the family, for the kids, because in 10 years we'll have a house full of teenagers.
Yep.
So,
So do that with us, if you don't mind. And you can send us a message and let us know how it's going. You can talk to us. If you got some topics or something you would like to hear talked about, tell us, man. If you got testimony, you don't mind us sharing, we'll share that mug. Look, it's about helping one another, helping each other. Was that bad?
No, it's just very slangish. Anyway, we are about to interview our first couple of couples that are going to be our guests on the podcast. So we're excited about that.
Mm-hmm. We're excited for you to hear that. So
you're going to start like saying us with another couple and then us again, us with another couple and us again. So we're excited for you guys to meet these couples and get to hear some things from them.
And they're amazing people who have encouraged us by just living their lives. So I know they're going to encourage you guys. I know it. So we're done. You ready to go?
Yes, I'm very tired. I just keep saying that. I'm just tired. I can't wait for Saturday when I can sleep in.
But you ain't even did nothing today. I don't know why.
I did not do my workout today, but I have gotten in, wait for it.
Mm-hmm. Let me check mine because I know I beat you.
8,881 steps.
Yeah, that's all she got. That's it.
I am almost at my calorie goal for the day and 3 minutes away from my exercise goal.
And
trying to close these circles, guys. Got to close those circles.
I have been standing for 15 hours.
Of course you are when you're hopping along on crutches all day.
Don't diminish my accomplishment. I've been standing for 15 hours.
If you want a standing goal, I have 14 hours.
Who was 15 bigger than 14?
What's your goal for the day?
All right, so we're going.
That's what I thought. Let's swipe over and see Corey's.
My goal for what?
300.
My goal for what?
You're at 53%. I'm at 89%.
On that note, good night.